Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I am going to be talking today a little bit about your mind and what you're thinking about and how we're going to get started in any strategy that we're going to use so that we can stop the madness with the debt and what that looks like in your own life. And you know what, I think that if people just took a little bit of time to think, just to think, you might be amazed at how far you can push your life. And so I guess you guys have been watching The Strangest Secret. I've been talking about that quite a bit because Earl Nightingale really makes you think about what you're thinking about. And so when I think about how I'm going to progress, okay, meaning if I am looking for answers in my own life and I'm stuck, then what is it that I need to be thinking about? What is it that I need to be doing? Remember, faith is an action word. So if you're in faith with whether that be um, sitting in a chair, you have to have faith that the chair is going to hold you up when you sit down, right? So there's different levels of faith. Faith for your eternal salvation. You're acting, you're in action. You've been baptized to receive the forgiveness of your sins, to receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. So in these actions, your faith is in eternal life, right? So the faith is action. So your faith is in you can get out of debt. And the action steps that you take, such as getting the line of credit, such as getting your money max analysis, such as doing the infinite banking concept, whatever the idea is for you, what's your goal? You need to be taking action steps towards it, right? So if you're looking for a job, do you sit on the couch watching TV? Do you think that the job is going to knock on the door? Hello, hello, I'm here. Come and get me. No, that's not going to work. So the point is that we need to be taking action. But until you know what your goal is, it's hard to take action, right? So the point of thinking is just think. Just to think about your life in general, where you want to see it going. What are your goals? That's your decision. Isn't that great? You have been given you've been given the ability to set any goal that you would like to see in your life, and it's your responsibility to make it happen. That's my favorite phrase. That's my favorite phrase in my whole life and being is you can make it happen. And when I learned that I could make it happen, I did. So whatever it is that you want to see in your life, you make it happen. Is that a better job? Is that getting out of debt? Is that a closer relationship with your children? You make it happen. And when I see that some people are not taking advantage of that, a wimpy, whiny person that I can't make this, I can't do this. This is too hard. Come on, we got to adult up. You're responsible for your life. And when you decide to take the responsibility, when you decide to take life and run with it, you know what? Life is only boring to boring people. Life is only mundane to mundane people. There is so much opportunity out here, especially if we're in the United States, and I am. You have no excuses. If you're in a poverty mindset, to come out of that, come out of that. It doesn't matter what culture you were raised in. It doesn't matter what state you were raised in, what city you were raised in. Change your thinking that you're just as good as anybody else that is successful in the world. Change your thinking and start moving. Be that person that you want to be. Be that person you admire. And I think that that is, even in my area, that is the craziest concept, because people are like, okay, life is here and it's happening. No, no, it's happening how you have it playing out in your mind, how you have your goals set. If you don't have any goals, then it's not going anywhere. It's just going to stay right where you're at and maybe decline. So, for goodness sake, start thinking, okay? Start thinking about what it is you want to see unfold in your life, and just think. So, Earl Nightingale in The Strangest Secret, he talks about sitting down every morning and just writing down your ideas, writing down any idea, as a matter of fact, as silly as it seems. Just sit and take time to write down your ideas and your goals. Oh my goodness. Bob Proctor, he was really big on writing out a letter to your future self that says, I am so happy and grateful now that. What is your now that? Now that I have a channel that has over 341,000 subscribers. Now that I'm living in this home. Now that I'm driving this car. What is your now that? What is it that you want to see in your future? Write a letter to yourself. I have told you guys, I've written several letters to myself. I think I'm the only one that knows I write letters, but this one right here, let me see if I still have it right here. It was all telling. Yeah. So I wrote a letter to myself. This was February 28th of 2023. And I said, I am helping thousands of people to become financially and emotionally free while I'm making a six-figure income doing it. What happened in 2023? One, I stepped out of my corporate position that I was in because I was tired of sitting there wasting my life doing the same thing over and over and over again. Is anybody in the house that is tired? You're exhausted with the situation that you're in? Write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter and see if you can't change very quickly. This doesn't take long. From the time I wrote that letter in February, I hit 60,000 subscribers, and I hadn't even started in February of 2023. Just had started actually posting videos at the end of February 2023. So 60,000 subscribers by June. And in May is when it really, it started taking off in May, and by June we were there. And so the point is that what is it that you would like to do? I have so many of you reach out to me, and I meet one-on-one with you, and you talk about, I would really, I've always wanted to do this, or I've always wanted to, write a book or do whatever. All you have to do is do it. There's nothing stopping you but yourself. So when we understand that we're in control of a lot, especially our lives, we have more control than we ever dreamed we have, and you can make it happen. So that being my favorite phrase, I just had to let you guys know, remind you, you just need to think, take some time. You know what? We're in such habitual lifestyle. We just get up and we get ready, or we have our coffee. We sit and read a book for a minute. We go get ready. Then we're like going out to work, or it's just, you're on autopilot, right? But you need to take a minute to sit down and think about which way you want your life to go so that you can start directing it that way, right? And speaking good things. You don't want your tongue to be against you. The Bible says that the tongue is a force, just like the small rudder controls the whole huge ship. Your tongue controls your life and the direction you're taking. So think about that for a minute. Think about that and see if you don't need to change up on some things that's going to really change your life. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I want you all to be excited. I want you all to be encouraged. And above all, I want you to be at peace. Okay? Once you're at peace, everything else works just fine. You have just got to figure out a few things, okay? All right, so let's see here who we got in the room. We got Texas all in the room. Oh my goodness. Check it out. I got a HELOC for 5,000. I was hoping for 15, but I'm going to do my best with 5,000. Congratulations, Dell. That is exactly the way you need to be looking at it. You need to be just gaining the line of credit however it comes to you at first. It will be on the increase as you continue to do the velocity banking, whatever it is that whatever avenue. I worked with a lady earlier, and she's going into the Money Max, and that is awesome. It's going to eliminate her interest. She's also going into the infinite banking concept. So a lot of you guys are really making great strides towards moving really fast. I've seen a lot of people coming in telling me that, they're paying off $10,000 to $20,000 of debt every couple or 3 months. Why? Why is that? Why is it that you hear something that's common sense and all of a sudden it changes around for you because you're using a strategy that makes sense? You're learning to use the bank and what that looks like in your current debt situation. Because I am a firm believer that everybody can get out of debt. It's just that you're using the wrong tools, and you may have spent decades in the wrong tool. And so you're throwing away everything that you make just to pay off a debt, or at least you think you're paying off the debt, whereas really you're sitting spending an interest. Okay? That's what we want to stop. Oh my goodness. That's what we want to stop. We got Arkansas in the house. Hello, hello. The best options to buy a car. I have lines of credit set up to buy cars. Now, that being said, I have used car loans that you can chunk down, of course. Either way, you're going to win if you have a strategy set up. So whether that be, you have a small line. For example, the guy that just said he got a $5,000 line of credit. If you were to have this set up correctly, that when you got your car loan and you knew your strategy was to chunk that car loan down with your $5,000 line of credit, then you're going to win. You're going to pay very little interest to the car loan, but just have a strategy set up before you go get the car loan. Okay. If you can knock an amortization schedule off by throwing chunks, even if it's $1,000, let's say you have a $500 car payment, you make that, you put $1,000 into the principal of the car, then you've knocked the schedule up. But if you have a $5,000 or $10,000 line that you chunk onto the principal of the car, guess what? You just threw it off maybe by 2 or 3 years with one chunk. Okay, using the amortization schedule is going to help you so much. Um, I've told you guys for your homes, you can go to Carl's mortgage calculator, Carl with a K. That's an awesome app that I use. Brett Whistler also has a calculator that you can use, an amortization schedule calculator. It's awesome. The Money Max is the most amazing thing you'll ever use to get out of debt. It's amazing. There's nothing going to beat the Money Max for debt elimination because it is an interest eliminator. Okay. Actually, we are having a webinar. I'll put that in the link. I'm sorry, I'll put the link in the chat. You're welcome to join and learn more about the Money Max. But you all hear me talk about the Money Max quite a bit. And the reason is because it is saving people thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay. And it's an awesome creation. I was talking to the creator last night. I know, right? Christy Vann was talking to the creator of Money Max. And I'm not talking about the creator as in, oh yeah, he set up this website for this great invention. He is the inventor. So when I talk at 9 o'clock at night to these great minds, I am as overwhelmed as you may be, thinking, to me, those people, I love great minds. And if I can be around them more and more and more, I'm hoping that my baby mind will grow into a great mind. But back to the Money Max, the creator, he literally invented this software that automatically does the velocity banking for you, as far as it sets up for what you need to do with your own debt, with your own money coming in. It literally sets it up, organizes it, tells you what to pay, how much to pay, on what debt, on what day. You don't have to do any thinking then. You don't have to think about, well, wait a minute, what's it going to look like? How do I do this? Do I transfer my money here or do I put it over here first? How many of you guys reach out to me in a day and you'll say, I've been getting $1,000 bonus, or I'm getting a $5,000 bonus, and I don't know where to use it. So it's going to be the best place to put it in my debt elimination strategy. Well, we can run some numbers and we can guesstimate, but the Money Max is not a guesstimation. It's a guaranteed product. So it's going to tell you the right place to put that money so that you are eliminating as much interest as possible, which means you're eliminating more debt. Okay. So the Money Max is the interest eliminator. All right. So we're having the Money Max webinar on. Okay, what is happening here? Let me go back. We're having the Money Max webinar on Tuesday. Congratulations, Glayla. I hope I said your name right. Have my exam on Monday for IBC and Money Max on Wednesday. Congratulations. Oh my goodness. Money Max Tuesday. That's at 7 p.m. Central Time. Okay. So you are welcome to go register for that here. There is a Q&A. So you're going to be able to ask any questions that you have. Listen, stop. Oh my gosh, I hear people, you have to know your options. You have to know your options. That's what this channel is about, is to give you options. What is best for you? And the thing about the Money Max, the thing about the infinite banking concept is all of this stuff is presented to you running your numbers, not my numbers, not Joe Blow's numbers, your numbers, and giving you an answer on what these options will do for you before you ever ever step into any kind of commitment. So when I hear people say, oh, this is a scam, well, if you're getting the answers for yourself, how's that a scam? Oh, people are so irritating when they are so focused on being negative and a naysayer just because they like to hear themselves talk. Give me proof that something's a scam before you say it's a scam. Okay. And when you're talking about these debt elimination strategies that I talk about, it's super important for you to know what those strategies are going to do for you. Like I said, the Money Max is a guaranteed this is guaranteed that if it tells you you're going to be out of debt by June of 2028, you can bank on it. And it's going to tell you how to get there. It's like this GPS that tells you every move to make in your finances. You get extra money, it tells you where to put it. Okay, so if we are trying to learn how to make our life the best it can be, and financially you're here at this channel for a reason, is you want to get things under control, or maybe, maybe you've not got debt, but you're wanting to know how to build wealth. Go get an analysis for yourself with your situation, and then you're going to have answers. You're either going to have one of two answers, maybe three. One that says, I don't like that. I don't think that's going to work for me. Walk away. Or you may get, oh yeah, I really like that. Let me go get some things together so I can step back into the analysis and see if it'll change up a little bit if I change my income, or if I, do some velocity banking to make some cash flow happen here first, or whatever. Or maybe three is, oh my goodness, I cannot believe how that is going to have me out of debt so quickly. Okay. I absolutely love that. That's what I want to do. That's why these things are free for you to get the analysis. They're free for you to find out what it's going to do for you before you ever step into it. I am not a salesman, and I don't like salesmen. I'm sorry if you are one. I don't like to be pressured into buying something. Sometimes I'll take a step back when somebody is pressuring me, because I'm like, let me think about this because I'm not feeling you here. Okay. So I don't like pressure, and I'm not into pressure. So these are free analysis for you to know that you want to move forward. If you don't go get it, if you don't learn about whatever the strategy is, then that's your fault. I'm throwing it out there. It's your fault if you don't do the homework. It's your fault if you don't show up for the webinars. It's your fault if you don't get a strategy in order, because you've been given all kinds of ideas through this channel. And I'm telling you, there's something that's going to make the change in your life if you're in debt. If you want to build wealth, if you want to make sure your children are taken care of financially when you pass, there are options. And I want you to don't study just this channel, study everybody's channel. Try to figure out what's the right idea for you, what's going to work for you. Okay. Okay, so the conference in November has been changed. I put an email out to the ones that were interested in purchasing tickets for that conference. So that is on hold until further notice. Just have to, we had some scheduling conflicts, and we're going to have to figure some things out here. So that was really discouraging to me as well, but we'll get back on it. And so just patiently wait for me to make more announcements about that, please. Oh my gosh. Yeah, That's the problem, is the speakers. We were trying to get everybody there, and it just kind of just like, okay, let's just hold on and reanalyze our dates and what's going on here. So be patient. I'm still going to do the 3-day webinar um, online, so that will be probably in late October. So just so sorry that I had to put that off, but I did, and I did make that decision. What is the day? Probably the first of the week. Okay. All right. So stay tuned for that. Let's see here. Where do you take exams for IBC? I would like to be a practitioner too. I don't know. I am not a practitioner. I know that it's this institute that makes you the practitioner. Do you have to be a practitioner? Do you? If you know what you're doing and you're doing it correctly, isn't being a practitioner just a title? I don't know. You're welcome to do whatever you want to do, but this is the book that you need to follow, and I guess it would have information about becoming a practitioner. Yeah, I love this. I love the concept. I do it. Just don't know that if you have to be a practitioner to actually set up those policies or not. Let's see here. Thank you for your time and energy sharing such valuable information for us to know. Just secured my HELOC and on my way to financial freedom. I thank God for working through you. Thank you so much for that, B. I appreciate that. It is my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Cooking with Uncle TJ. Love your content. My wife and I are excited about the prospects. That's so awesome. I haven't gotten a HELOC yet, but my mind is changing. I'm learning. Good. Keep studying. At least you're growing. That's what matters. That's what matters. Good afternoon. My question is, I'm using a HELOC. I got into this with Denzel. The question I have is, do we still use the credit card or stop using them when using Velocity? I use the credit card for everything. I know, Dave Ramsey, don't come and attack me. I use the credit card for everything. It's convenient. It pays me cash rewards. And then, you know what? I turn around and pay it off by the due date with my HELOC, whatever. It's that easy. So it's holding your expenses throughout the month, while you're just making one transfer to pay the credit card off. I love that. I love that. So I pull my credit card out at least 55 times a day because I just do. And then I deal with the balance due on the due date. Let me just go back. I'll go back in and I'll pay on my credit cards probably once a week. The reason I do that, and I teach you guys that it makes your credit score a little bit stronger when you're really, making sure you're revolving that card more, any line of credit more. So I use credit cards all day, every day for anything from online to grocery shopping to restaurants to clothes, whatever. Okay. Then I'll go in, usually after a shopping trip. I'll come in and I'll look, 2 or 3 days later and pay some on the credit card, not necessarily all of it, because why would you? It's sitting there interest free. You're using the bank's money. So it's sitting there interest free as long as you're paying it off on the due date. Okay. So I like it. I like to do that. You don't have to do that. But yes, to answer your questions, do you still use the credit cards? I do. I think it's pretty fun because I don't carry cash. I used to love to carry cash because Dave Ramsey had me having 55 envelopes, right? Where you've got, let's say, I got my food envelope, I got my restaurant envelope, I've got my clothes envelopes. I got my electric bill envelope. I've got my Verizon bill envelope. I've got my trash bill. I've got my, I mean, I know I've got them over there. I would go get them and bring them because I love to show how I have been in the exact same situation you guys have been and may be, and come out of it. So cash was cash was king. Just a few years ago in the 80s, cash was king. Yes. Oh my gosh, we had cash on us all the time. But not now. We're a credit society. Everything is done based on your credit score. Everywhere you go, you have to swipe a card. You can't even rent a car without having a credit card. So, and I don't even know if do they take a debit card now? I don't even know. I haven't rented a car in a while, but I was just so surprised they wouldn't take cash because I had cash the last time I went to rent. And they're like, no, you can't use cash. It's against the law. And so, if they could, they would take the cash completely out of society. But, we got a lot of maybe illegal stuff going on out there that takes cash, and I don't see them pulling cash completely. But that being said, I do keep cash on me for tips. I love tipping the waitresses. Let me talk about that a second. I know this is like way off, but this is just the way I feel. Is if I have somebody serving me in a restaurant, I am nothing that somebody would serve me. I'm paying for my food, right? I mean, they give you the list that you're going to be paying. That's the restaurant. That's what they charge for that plate. But service? No, they don't make enough for us to sit there and act like that they're not serving us. Now, if you're a waitress or a waiter and you give bad service, then I'm absolutely going to leave you just the minimal tip that I can and take that for what it's worth. But the fact is I always go into the expectation that that waiter or waitress is going to do what they love to do, which is to serve people. So when I go in with that expectation, probably 80% of the time, I get an excellent, excellent waitress or waiter refilling my drinks, before I even ask, checking in to see if we need anything. I mean, I love that. And I take care of my waiters and waitresses. A lot of people don't feel that way as they're like, oh, they're just doing their job. I'm going to throw them $2. Well, make somebody's day besides your own, right? $100 tips, you would be surprised how excited a waiter or a waitress is when you do that. I've had them run out to the car, literally follow me, run out to the car just to hug me and thank me. People need help. And when you've got somebody servicing your table, then the least you can do is be very friendly with them and consider them a human being that's helping you. But tipping them, tip stands for to ensure proper service. And so the tip really should be given at the beginning, I imagine. I don't know who came up with this and why we do it at the end, but I do it at the end because if you've been great, I'm going to be greater, right? So my husband has this thing, if you're good to me, I'm going to be great to you. And that's the way I feel too. So the point is to look around you, when you have somebody waiting on your table, they're actually there to ensure that you're having a good dinner. And so if they have made sure that, like I said, your drinks were refilled, you had napkins, whatever it is, then For goodness sake, think about how you could bring joy to that person by offering a little larger tip than you're used to doing. And that may take you some time to get to where you're doing $50 and $100 tips. But you would be so surprised at how those waiters and those waitresses that are they're working, they have a load on them and they're still being nice, giving you a friendly face. They may have a load of debt on them as well. I've had 2 or 3 come up to me after a large tip and they'll say, "You don't know how I needed that." I had one lady tell me that she was getting evicted from her apartment, and she said, "You just made my day." So please, please think when you ever have anybody serving you, in whatever capacity, that you pay them well, because I just think that's the right thing to do, but I may be a little weird here. The fact is that I love to give, and when you turn into a giver, you're going to receive. That is a spiritual law. You're not going to get by that one. Okay. Just got recommended your channel and saw you are live. Hello, hello. Well, I hope that you learn from the channel. I hope that you get the answers you're looking for. I'm sure you will when it comes to finances. How do you use your HELOC to fund IBC when you have a large balance on the HELOC and are using VBJ? Start small with your IBC. It doesn't take a lot to get one started. I do annual chunks out of my HELOC, any line of credit. So when you're chunking onto the IBC, which is the infinite banking concept for somebody who's watching that doesn't know, you're building your funds and it doesn't have to be a large amount, like I said. So you need to start where you're at. Okay. My first ones were, I think, 2,000, right? So when you keep growing and growing in policies and you can get up to that 50,000. I had a lady today, she had a $78,000 payout coming for like early retirement or something. That was coming in, and she was talking about setting up a policy and was asking, can I do a one-time dump in? Absolutely. And then you can maybe have, smaller payments due every year. So it's how you want that IBC set up. So just start where you're at, okay? And Chris Nagel's team is really good for implementing. That he actually calls it the implementation team, and I'm like, that's genius. So definitely, know that we're all starting somewhere, right? And even though, I may look like I'm here, the point is I'm just now starting in other areas. It's a continual increase. It's a continual growing. And the point is that you get better and better every day, whatever that means. It's so funny because I hired a new coach in my life because I'm wanting to increase, not financially. This is my character. Increase. So be on the increase. I'm trying to do it and I want you guys to do it because every day we live, we should be doing better in every area, relationships, financially, whatever it is that you need in your life, continue to grow. It's exciting. That's what I said. Only a boring person thinks life's boring. There's super a lot to do out here, especially when it's serving people. Oh, so exciting. Okay. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. See, you are a real one. That made me think of Mr. Grinch. You're the real one. Or you're the mean one, Mr. Grinch. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I had a little kid mind come in there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay. You're a real one, Christy. Thank you, Christopher. Most servers are only paid $2.13 an hour just to cover taxes. I did not know that. Wow, people, if that is truth, if a waiter or waitress or servers, that's a good word for it right there, are only paid $2.13 an hour, you don't think that they deserve a good tip from you when they have served you well? Now, I'm going to tell you, I have had waiters and waitresses that are just rude. They bring you your drink at the first and you never see them again. Somebody else will even bring your food sometimes. For those, I mean, that's not service. They just handed you a glass and walked away. I'm talking about when you have somebody that is putting effort into what they're doing, right? This is their job, but it's their chosen work. And if you don't like the work you're in, then get out. Okay? Right? Like I said at the beginning of this video, you start writing down your goals and what it is you want to do with your life, where you want to see your life end up. And if you're stuck in a dead end job, then be writing your letter to yourself of what you're going to be doing by December of 2025. Okay? Don't be sitting there hating on somebody that you have to serve. So the point being that if you have a good waiter, waitress, server, whatever you call them here, and they're only making $2.13 per hour, then you're obligated to make sure that you're taking care of that person who is serving you, right? If they're not serving you, then I don't even care if you leave them a tip. The fact is that that's why that we tip people, is because they're helping us, right? And we don't deserve anything, but that is a position they chose to take. So the point is treat them well because of what they're doing. All right. Wow, I never thought of it like that, but I am a giver. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, giving to people that's serving you, that's wow. I mean, that's just you know, that's just like they're always going to get a good tip from me. If they have acted like anybody, they're going to get a good tip. My husband actually is the one that's responsible. I don't know how we got into that, but he always leaves the tip, and a nice one. And sometimes we do more because it depends on what service we've received. Okay. Hello, hello. Let's see what else we got here. Closed on the HELOC last week. Found you just in time. That is awesome, Granny. I hope that you're learning. I got declined from 2 different banks to get a HELOC because of my income. Because of your income, okay, maybe you need to try the Money Max. Maybe the Money Max is your answer, okay? When people have problems getting a line of credit, we always have the Money Max because it doesn't care if you have a line of credit or not, okay? The link for the Money Max meeting, I'll put it back in here again. I'll also have it under this video. You can go here and check that out and join me on Tuesday. We did a giveaway last Tuesday. Was anybody that's in here, were you in the Money Max giveaway? They actually gave away a system, which is wow. That's like a almost $4,000 value that they gave away. And then we gave away some cash prizes as well. I think we gave away right under $1,000 probably in cash prizes. So it was a good week last week. We do that sometimes. But the meeting link is in there. You can register. And that way you can join us on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. So that's pretty exciting. Okay. I hope you start a service for creating IBC policies. I do have that, Layla. I'm setting that up starting now because Actually, I was on the phone with Chris and Noggle this morning about that. So we are getting that set up through Fantastic. Yes. Hi, Christy. I bless you. Thank you so much for that, Erica. Eric, I'm sorry. I appreciate that because you know what? We need to bless because people are getting cursed every day in different ways. So if you can be a blessing, that's awesome. And I appreciate you even saying that. So thank you so much. Where can I find a direct email for you and Chris and Noggle? My kids want to buy a house next year and need to learn more how not to buy with a traditional mortgage. Oh my gosh, yes, Eric. And if you will reach out to my contact form on my website, I can get you directly to Chris and Noggle's team that way. Yeah. There's also the first lien HELOC, gets you out of the traditional mortgage too, so don't forget about that. I am self-employed and have a lot of write-offs, but bank doesn't care. No, they don't. No, they don't. No. So you probably want to look into that Money Max, because that's same thing with me. I had the same problem because when you step into a new career, a new job, you have to have 2 years of verification. And if you do the write-offs, which you should, because if you're spending money in your company or in your business, you definitely want to take the write-offs because who wants to pay taxes, right? Um, the point is, it does mess with you and how you can get the lines of credit at the bank. So the Money Max stops all of that. Okay, so I hope that helps. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good. Okay. Okay. Yes. First lien HELOC. Oh, so you can send me, let me send my contact form in here. I'll put the link in here. And if you want to write me, I can get that right out to you. Do I have it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. I'll put that in the chat as well. And you can mark what you want information on, and I send out emails when I get those in, okay? So it's just going to ask you, are you interested in Money Max? Are you interested in infinite banking? Are you interested in the first lien HELOC? So whatever you mark, you will get a link back for that particular thing you asked for. Thank you so much, Diamond. I appreciate that. And I love the way they spell diamond. Did I say that right? That's so cute. All right. Oh my goodness. It is going to be a beautiful day here in East Tennessee, but it looks like it is cold. That's why I'm wearing the long sleeves. Um, we go through this. Here we are, March, and it's like I looked out the windows this morning and there was frost everywhere, and I'm like, okay, that went from, I think it was really, really warm yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might get up to 50 today, I believe I saw. I'm not sure about that. So if you are in a debt strategy right now, and you are looking for the ways that you can build wealth, I have found working through Chris and Oggle's team that the infinite banking concept, moving into the money multiplier, is what his group, he's got a group with that. He's got the private money club. So many ways for you to go from an IBC policy into actually building wealth with investments. So keep up with him for sure. Keep up with the channel here, and I'll keep updating you to what he's doing over there. But he's just super smart. He's got all kinds of things to help people build wealth, and he's got a heart in it as well. So I appreciate Chris Noggle. I really, really do. Am I correct from learning from you by saying if my kids buy with a first lien HELOC, if they buy a $500,000 house and put $50,000 down, They will have cushion of 50,000. It works like a line of credit. Yes. Okay. So you're going to have you're going to have the origination fee of the first lien HELOC, which the banks I work with, I know one is less than 2,000, which that's crazy when you think about the origination fee of a mortgage. My goodness, you're talking about what, like 20,000? So yes, if you move into a $500,000 line of credit, and then you take 50,000 and put into the line of credit, then yes, you will have the 50,000 available in that line. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Yay, I'm learning. Yay, good. Okay. Okay, good. Finish the form. Good. Hi, Christy. God bless you. I received that. Thank you so much. Thank you. What do you think of credit unions that require a minimum draw and keep it for 12 months? That is okay. Let me think. Okay, so my HELOC, the first HELOC I did, they required that I take 25,000. I had to take a $25,000 draw and put it into my checking account. Well, I didn't want to do that because I was just learning, way these lines of credit worked, especially with a HELOC. And the lady told me at the bank, she said, it's okay, you can put it right back in, but you have to take the withdrawal. So I took the 25,000 is in my checking. I turned around, I put it back. Okay. So I don't know if that's what you mean by that. As far as the 12 months, you have to keep it out for 12 months. That would be totally something I've never heard before. So I hope that's not what that means. That is so sweet. Why Buddo? Why Buddo? Or Bud Do? Why Bud Do? Okay. You have a new lease on life. That is great news. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love to know that you guys are getting the help that you need. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you. Let's see. Hi, how I just read that one. I was approved for 26,000 on the HELOC at 8.5, which is just not too bad. The credit union requires a minimum first draw of 25K for the first 12 months. So if your balances on the credit cards and the mortgage total 53,000, then you can take the 25,000 that they're making you withdraw and go ahead and pay some debt off with that. So now the 25,000 sitting on the HELOC actually has gained you some cash flow because you paid off some credit cards or your mortgage. I think I'm understanding you. New York. I do have one that services New York. I'll have to send you both links, okay? And you'll have to ask. One does service New York, one does not, okay? Yes, or pay closing fees, okay? Correction, I was approved for 260,000. Wow, very good. Very good, Marva. Yes, if they require the 25,000 to be out for 12 months, I have never heard of that before. I have heard that there's like a 6-month or a 12-month promotion that you get a certain rate, but I've never heard of them making you take a withdrawal and keeping it out. That's weird because that would be kind of like you're going to be making payments back to them. So if you take 25,000 and you're making back the payment that they set up for you, then it's going to be decreasing anyway. So how could you keep a 25,000 balance? I don't know. Kind of check into that, Marva, and see if maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying there, but see if you can't find out more about that because that sounds a little weird. Just a bit weird. Okay, so I'm not going to be on here much longer because I'm going to get off of here and do some stuff. But you know what? The point is that we just need to keep growing, whatever that means for you. And when I was starting this live talking about thinking, just think, I literally, I mean, do I have it here? I don't think I have it here. I think I have it upstairs. But I literally keep 2 notebooks, and one is for just thoughts, ideas. And when I have an idea hit my head that I've never thought of before, like this morning, like I said, I was talking to Chris Noggle first thing this morning because I had an idea about helping the people move faster. And so we had a telephone conversation about that. So when you have an idea, act on it. Like I said, faith is an action word. That's not a faith, oh, I believe. No, no. Even, when you're talking about spiritual things, or you're talking about Christ, uh, it says that the devil also believes, right? And trembles. So belief don't get you saved. All right. The faith is an action. So whatever your faith is in, you need to be acting on that. And like I said, if you are doing or wanting the goal of debt elimination, then you have to act on that. You have to get moving. Same thing I said earlier is if you're sitting down watching TV, watching other people's success, think about that for a minute. You have a goal that you're going to have a YouTube channel one day. You have a goal that you're going to, have that craft channel, or you're training horses and teaching them, or maybe dogs. My husband's a canine handler, and he's so good with the dogs. So we talk about, him doing videos training the animals so that people can watch them and learn what to do with their own animal, right? Seems like a great channel to me. And the point is that whatever you want to do, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be, out here in the community or whatever, if you're not acting on that and you're sitting back watching other people's success on YouTube doing what you would like to do, then you're failing. Because you could be taking steps towards getting into that person's success, right? If you admire somebody, act like them. Do what they're doing to get where they're at. And that's very easy. You just have to start taking action steps to do that. Okay? So, when you think about, all right, let's talk about the radio for a minute. I heard from Jim Rohn, I believe it was, he said that if you're just listening to the radio, that's like chewing gum for the brain. It's not even, it's just idle. It's just listening to music. Sometimes, I listen, especially to praise music. But sometimes, the 80s music that really gets me up and pumping when I'm wanting to work out, or if I'm wanting to, if I'm in a good mood, excited. But most of the time, I'm listening to inspirational things about growing. And so that's what Jim Rohn, I believe it was, or Zig Ziglar, he was saying that if you're listening to just the radio, then it's just chewing gum for the brain. But if you're listening to things that are inspiring you, helping you to grow, giving you knowledge, studying to the next level. I mean, growth. There's nobody watching this live right now that hates going to school more than I do and did. I had to do it. We all got to graduate from high school. I didn't aim to do college. That was just, I'm not wasting my time in there. That's just the way I felt about it. School's not for everybody. And then you've got the things I've had to study for when it comes to my certifications. I've had a daycare certification, so I had to study to, go through the classes to get all of those certifications to run a daycare. I have my CWI certification, so it's certified welding inspector. That's what I did for years. So I had to test to get that, and I hated it. I hated it all the way through it. But the point is that you have to keep growing and studying and doing. You know, with the CWI comes the UT, which is the ultrasonic testing. That is a pain in the butt to study for. Uh, you know, the MT, the PT. So there's all of these testing that you have to do to get certified. But that's part of life. It's part of growing. The insurance, you know, if you're going to get your insurance license, you have to test to get your insurance license. And there's a lot of work that goes behind getting things set up even after you've tested. So growing takes work. Being on the increase takes work. So it's important that you realize that it's part of it, but it's making you better. It's building your character. It's going to make you more money eventually, but it's growing. And you can't grow sitting still doing nothing. Your mind needs to be growing until you die. And that's your attitude even. Your attitude is the main player in most of your life. Either you're a real negative naysayer, always looking for the bad, or you want to be an encourager and you're always looking for the good. It's about your mouth. What's it saying, right? Okay, I am going to jump off of here because it is Saturday and I know you all have a million other things that you would rather be doing as well. Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate that. Oh, Corey, I thank you for that. Texas is crazy awesome. My number one clientele for numbers is there in Texas. That is so crazy. I cannot believe how many Texans I have got to meet. And that's why I'm so excited about eventually now holding that Texas conference. That's going to be so much fun. Thank you so much, Corey. What would you advise? I wouldn't advise because I'm not a financial advisor, but I will answer your question if I can. Between first line and second HELOC, we have 7 years left on the mortgage. That all depends on your numbers, Manda. All depends on your numbers. Either or could work. So I don't even know how to answer that, okay? Keep watching videos and see if you can figure it out. The first and second line usually works about the same. A little bit difference in interest rates, but I'm seeing now not really. So you know what? It just whatever works best for your numbers and what, you know, if you're already in a second position and you can do what you're going to do with it, then stay with it. Okay. The first lien, remember the first lien HELOC, that takes over any mortgage that you would have. So the mortgage being a loan and it's a demon, transferring it into a line, making it revolving where your income's going in, your expenses are coming out. To me, it's beautiful. Okay. But if you can't get either, then the Money Max is certainly going to change your game as well. Do you recommend applying for a PLOC with a credit score of 630? Wait until it gets higher. What banks do you recommend applying for the PLOC? Shay, 630 is pretty low. Now, I'm not going to say it's completely out because I have seen people that will go, you know, talk to the credit union, maybe setting up a new account or something and talking about a small line to start. So I have seen people get a 500 line at a 630. But yes, and it can happen quickly, but you do need to get up to about 650 to where you can really start moving into the larger lines. Okay. I hope that helps. I do not know banks. No, I don't recommend any banks for PLOCs because every bank in your area is different than my area. Okay. What's something for free with an expert pays you in knowledge and experience? Do something for free with an exactly. Oh, you've been listening to Napoleon, I can tell. Yes. anytime you can work with the great minds, anytime, however you can get into their space, you're going to learn. Yes, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very important. 680 minimum for a PLOC? No, that's not a minimum for a PLOC. I've seen them, like I said, I've seen 630 get small ones. 650 is usually all you need to get a decent PLOC. A HELOC, yes, 680 or above. Hello, Loretta Love. Hello. Hi, Christy. Going through a divorce. Checked on HELOC for spouse equity portion. Not sure if cash out refinance will be better. I have debt. Checked on HELOC for spouse equity portion. That's a great idea. If you're talking about paying off the spouse, right? Great idea if you're going to use a HELOC. Yes. Cash out, you're going to be paying that mortgage refinance origination fee again. You're going to be back into the amortization schedule. Not my favorite, but you can do whatever you feel most comfortable with. The Texas conference, like I said earlier, has been postponed. I don't have any dates for that right now. Letters went out to the people that purchased already, and unfortunately, it's going to be a minute until I can get some things worked out with that in Texas because of the scheduling conflicts, okay? Hello, Irene. Hello, hello. I hope you guys are going to have and are planning a great Saturday. We are in the afternoon, so you better get on it, whatever you're going to be doing. I am going to as well. It has been a pleasure sitting here speaking with you guys. I hope that you're learning. I hope that you're growing. You know what? I would help you any way I possibly can. I'm going to have another 3-day webinar because I want to get Chris and Ogle and Money Max all in one place so you can sit and talk and ask questions. So we're going to be setting up for the 3-day webinar soon. I hope that you're interested in that. We have the 4-week course. The master class is getting ready to start in April. You are welcome to join me for that. As a matter of fact, I better put that link in here as well. So if you want to join the 4-week master class, starts in April, you can go here. The 4-week master class, what we do with that is we have, of course, myself, and we're talking all about velocity banking, all the basics, you know, what is a line of credit? What is a loan? What's the difference between the two? What's an amortization schedule? What does it look like? How do you use it when you're working to eliminate your debt? What's a first lien HELOC? What's an all-in-one? What's the money max? What's the infinite banking concept? So that 4 weeks of 2 classes per week is crammed full. Okay. And I mean, we move. So if you're going to join that master class, have you a pen and paper because it's going to be a lot. It's going to be recorded again. So you will get a link if you miss a class, but it's 2 times a week. Starting April the 6th is going to be our first date, and then we're going to move it to where we're having classes. When do we have classes? Wednesday evening. Yes, Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Nope, it's not 9. Is it 9? It is 9. It is 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, on Wednesday nights, and then Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That way we're hitting the East and the West Coast. That way you're getting lots of information in 4 weeks. And you should know exactly what you're going to do with your own finances when you get through that 4 weeks, okay? So, and we do talk about your individual numbers as well. So, okay, I'm going to jump off of here. I'm going to put the masterclass in here. In the event you want to look at that, you are welcome to join me there. And that's $297 for the 4 weeks. Can't beat that. It's great, and it's going to be a good time. We also have a giveaway in the last class so that we can give a couple of people back the money where they paid for the class to get in. we do a giveaway at the end to kind of pay you back for that. Thank you so much, Maria. I love you too. So many doors have opened for me since I learned your methods. I feel ready for my daughter's college journey. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for just your kindness, your kind words to me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.